Hey guys, so sorry. I forgot to take myself off of mute on Clubhouse. Welcome to day 76 of Devotional Time for Mindset. Hey, and I see Clubhouse is already giving us issues today, but it's all right. We're going to keep on rocking. Hey, Winnie. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Tammy over on Clubhouse. Welcome back, Cousin Tabitha Leo, Cousin Ridesh. Hey, Reach You Consulting over on Instagram. Welcome back, Cousin Cunningham. Hey, Cynthia, user 2968 on TikTok. Cousin Tabitha Leo says hello on Instagram. Welcome. If you are new here, we are at day 76 of Devotional Time for Mindset. Hey, Della Rosa, can y'all believe it? We are over 3/4 of the way there of our 100-day journey. Yep. We got 24 days left. And then we're done. But we don't have to be done because you can subscribe to our official DTM community at mindsetmastersuite.com. Hey, Pitching It Real, Claudette, Marcia, Danielle, Tammy, Bridget, user 5873, Care Bear, Tashida. Hey, welcome. Listen, let me know where around the world you are tuned in from, no matter which platform you're on, okay? Because that is fun to see. Hey, Mahadi. Hey, Rio. Hey, Panther Black. Hey, welcome back, Cousin Dana. And also let me know if this is your first time ever tuning in to DTM. Because if you are new here, let me officially welcome you to the DTM family, okay? We're the family that you like to be around at the family reunion. And we are going to continue our journey as we are learning how to protect our minds and really truly create the life that God actually desires for us, which is a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, okay? So mindsetmastersuite.com is where you can find all the things. Hey, Cheryl, Cousin Katasha is back. She says, hey there, cousins, over on YouTube. So here's my book, y'all. I done almost lost my stuff. This devotional is guided by the book Battlefield of the Mind Devotional. Not the regular book, the devotional version of the book. Hey, Sunshine, it's been a while. Welcome back. Okay, if you want to follow along with us as we go through our journey, you can actually download your free copy of the book at mindsetmastersuite.com. mindsetmastersuite.com. You can also submit a prayer request at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can add your answers to our favorite list at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can subscribe to our official DTM community. If you haven't done that, please do that, because that's where we will continue after our 100 days is over. We will have guest speakers, we'll be able to be more intimate, and we could have prayer circles and all the good things at mindsetmastersuite.com when you click the subscribe to our official Devotional Time for Mindset family, okay? Hey, Joyce, Jadine, Love Umi, user 1897, Verdant, D, welcome. Mama Net, welcome back. Tuned in live from Indiana. Hey, Nadi. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Roosevelt. So again, let me know where around the world you're tuned in from in the comments. And then please share this live stream out, and then love, do all the things. Put your comments, your insights, your ahas, and definitely put your questions in the comment section, okay? And then please understand we're streaming live across 8 different platforms right now, and I do my best to catch every comment, but if I accidentally miss yours, please don't take it personal. Roosevelt is tuned in live from Buffalo. Nice. Good to see ya. My name is Lindsay Vertner. I'm a mindset expert, speaker, and actress, and I work with high-achieving leaders to help them prioritize self without guilt, specifically in the areas of self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline. And it is a part of my purpose to help each and every one of you create your first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Okay? Cousin Cheryl is tuned in live from San Antonio, Texas, over on Clubhouse. Welcome. Okay, guys, are y'all ready to get started with day 76? Because today we are continuing our discussion on judgment. But we're going to flip the script just a little bit, and you guys will see how once we start our discussion. Again, if you want to follow along, you can download your free copy of the book at mindsetmastersuite.com. I almost said the wrong things. At mindsetmastersuite.com. Okay, you can download your free copy. Hey, Cousin Lovely, welcome back. Okay, so Let's get started. And please, guys, remember, whenever you engage with this live stream, it helps tell the internet that, hey, let's share this with some new people. And you never know who might need the message. Cousin Lovely says, blessings to everyone over on TikTok, guys. All right, you ready? Day 76. Now, if you are new here, every single day we start the devotional by reading our day's devotional directly from the book. And after we read it, we have a little chit chat. We have a discussion. We talk about some things. Okay. We gonna laugh. Well, hopefully we don't cry, but we might be in our feelings just a little bit, but we're going to talk about the things that we just read about. So day 76 is titled Passing Judgment. The opening scripture reads, Jesus said, do not judge and criticize and condemn others, so that you may not be judged and criticized and condemned yourselves. For just as you judge and criticize and condemn others, you will be judged and criticized and condemned. And in accordance with the measure you use to deal out to others, it will be dealt out again to you. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 and 2. The devotional reads, I believe that pointing a finger at someone in judgment is often the way some people cover up their own weaknesses. Their theory seems to be judge others before they have a chance to judge you. I remember a girl in our neighborhood who constantly pointed to obese people and said terrible things about them. She was plump herself, and I often wondered if she criticized others in an effort to keep people from noticing her own weight. I grew up in a family where judgment and criticism were a part of everyday life. So I became an expert at deciding how other people should live. The devil loves to keep us busy mentally judging the fault of others. And the shortcomings in other people are often easy to see, especially when we're looking for them. There was a time when I enjoyed sitting in the mall, observing people as they walked by. I could usually find something wrong with every one of them. I could point out bad hairstyles, out of style clothes, and any number of other problems. When we choose to be judgmental, we will find that there is no end to the possibilities. Notice how I use the words choose to be judgmental, because that's exactly what I did. If anyone had called me a judgmental or critical person, I would have denied it because I wasn't aware of my negative attitude. I thought I was just giving my innocent opinion. At that time, I wasn't aware that I had a choice about my thoughts. Another thing I didn't think about then was the uselessness of my opinions. I didn't help anyone by pointing out to my friends what I perceived to be other people's shortcomings. I now know that we can choose the thoughts we want to focus on. We can't always choose the thoughts that come to our minds, but we can decide to let them stay and fester, or we can push them aside. It took me a while, but I eventually learned that when the devil brings those harsh, unkind, judgmental thoughts to us, we can use God's word to chase them away. There may be no better verse to repeat than Philippians 4:8 to get our thoughts properly centered. Whatever is true, whatever is worthy of reverence and is honorable and seemly, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely and lovable, whatever is kind and winsome and gracious, if there is any virtue and excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think on and weigh and take account of these things and fix your minds on them. I went through many years of misery because of judging others. I wanted to be able to say that what others did or how they looked was none of my business. And of course, it wasn't. But it took me a long time to replace those negative thoughts with all the good things I had to think about. During the process, God began to hold me accountable for my critical spirit, pointing me to the words of Paul. Why do you criticize and pass judgment on your brother? Why do you look down upon or despise your brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of God. And so each of us shall give an account of himself and give an answer in reference to judgment to God. Then let us no more criticize and blame and pass judgment on one another, but rather decide and endeavor never to put a stumbling block or an obstacle or hindrance in the way of a brother. That's from Romans 14:10 and Romans 14:12 through 13. Who are we? We are God's people. As Christians, we're part of one family, God's family. And He wants us to love and protect our family members instead of judging them. The closing prayer reads, God, so often I've compared myself to others and judged them. I know that's wrong. In the powerful name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to help me defeat every evil, judgmental thought that Satan throws at me. With your help and through your word, I know I can win. Amen. All right, family, that was our day 76 devotional reading. If you are just tuned in here, we just completed our day 76 devotional reading as we continue on our 100-day journey of devotional time for mindset. Again, you can download your free copy of the book at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can submit a prayer request at mindsetmastersuite.com. If any of these past 76 days have impacted you at all, please do me a favor and leave a testimonial at mindsetmastersuite.com. You can also subscribe to our official devotional time for mindset family at mindsetmastersuite.com. Okay, so that is your home base to do all the things. If you want to check out the other platforms, if you want to check out the replays, mindsetmastersuite.com has all the links. Just click on the YouTube button and you can check the replays. Hey, Jan. Hey, her legacy inspires. Hey, Bam. Hey, welcome back, Cousin Trey. Hey, Kenneth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Benny Joe over on Clubhouse. Hey, Selma. Hey, Sunitha. Welcome. Cousin Lovely says, oh, thank you, cousin. And she's got some smiley faces. Cousin Bam says, hey, 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 hello. Cousin Kenneth says, amen. Cousin Trey says, amen. Welcome. Okay, y'all, it's time for our discussion. Cousin Joyce is back, tuned in live on Facebook. Okay, so we've been talking about judgment quite a bit these past couple days, all right? And, this is probably the most that I've struggled with some notes on what we are going to say, because when I opened up today's devotional to get ready for today, and I was like, the title is Passing Judgment. Now, I knew it was going to be Passing Judgment because last night after day 75 devotional, I got the live prepped for today. And I had to put in the title, Passing Judgment. And I was like, oh, again? But then when I sat down today to open up the book and take some notes on what we're going to talk about, it really hit me like, judgment again? And I said, Lord, what more can we say about judgment? I'm just being transparent with y'all, okay? Because I was going through it. And when I say I could not think of anything to write down because I was like, I feel like we done talked about all the things we need to talk about in regards to judgment. I think we get it. We shouldn't judge others. And so I started doing some other things. Now, mind you, time is running out and it's almost midnight Eastern time. And I'm like, okay, you don't got nothing in your notepad. What you gonna say to the people? I said, let's take one more crack at it because we only got 20 minutes left before it's time to go live. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll just talk about some quotes that I found on the internet, some quotes that stood out to me about judgment. And then I was still like, that's not going to be enough. So maybe we'll just trust that the words will come to you as you go live. And then literally 5 minutes before I was supposed to go live, I got it. Today, we're not talking about judging others. Nope, we're still talking about passing judgment, but today we are specifically talking about passing judgment on ourselves because that is significantly as important as us passing judgment on others. Okay, Hey, Cousin Tabitha is back, tuned in live from Indianapolis over on Facebook. Cousin Trey says, yes, thank you. You're welcome, Cousin Trey, because I was over here just getting a little bit nervous, like we about to put this in the Lord's hands for real. And then it just literally hit me right before it was time to go live that we're talking about judgment on ourselves, because there are a lot of us cousins who beat ourselves up and keep ourselves in the ringer because we are constantly critical of ourselves. We're constantly passing judgment on ourselves. And for the past couple days, we've been talking about judgment, but it was more so judgment of other people when we are equally as important and we probably judge ourselves the most. So let's get into it. Y'all ready? Now, mind you, I still don't have a lot of notes, but it's okay because, I talk about self-worth because really that's what it comes down to. It comes down to our sense of self-worth on how critical we are of ourselves, how much we judge ourselves for the things that we do or don't do. Okay. Now, I still want to share these quotes with you because there were some good quotes. All right. So, this first one that instantly stood out to me says, although our conscious minds are avoiding our own flaws, they still want to deal with them on a deeper level. So, we magnify those flaws in others. Now, that is from a famous psychiatrist by the name of Carl Jung. Any of you that are familiar with psychology and things like that, then you've definitely heard his name because he's in all the educational textbooks. All right. And so let's break down this quote. Although our conscious minds are avoiding our own flaws, they still want to deal with them on a deeper level. So we magnify those flaws in other people. Have you ever, I'm trying to think of a really good example. Let me say this. The short version to really sum up this quote is first we reject, then we project. First we reject, then we project. Project, project, reject. Let me explain. So whenever we have insecurities about ourselves, or whenever we have something that we don't like about ourselves, whether consciously or subconsciously, we reject it within ourselves. We try to hide it away. We try to push it deep down. But what ends up happening is that subconsciously, we project it onto other people. So if I don't like my weight, then I'm constantly going to talk about other people's weight. If I don't like where my financial health is, then I'm constantly going to be worried about other people's money. Does that make sense? So I'm going to talk about you and what you got in your wallet, even though I don't got any business counting your coins. I'm going to talk about you and what your numbers on the scale look like, or how you fitting in those jeans, because I don't like how I'm fitting in my jeans. That is what really sums up this quote here. Cousin Trey says, oh no, that's true. And I know a lot of people, unfortunately, I know a lot of people that they always got something to say about somebody's something. We can be out in public and they will say, look what they got on, or what made them wear that. Who cares? If that's what they want to wear, then let them wear it, as long as they are, looking decent. Or in maybe some cases, that might be the only thing that they have to wear. We can't judge them, but why are you so worried about what they're wearing? How is it hurting you how they wear their hair or what they have on their body? Like, why does that matter? How does their weight impact your life? Because last I checked, only the things that you do with your body is going to impact your health and how long you live or how much you cut it short. Cousin Tabitha says yes on Facebook. Cousin Tabitha on Instagram says, I accept others, so I don't judge others. So first we reject, then we project. Let's look at another quote. If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is a part of yourself. What isn't a part of ourselves doesn't disturb us, said by Herman Hesse. If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is a part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. You guys understand that one? Hey, Amatage. Hey, Julia. Welcome. So, do any of you have anybody in your lives that you just despise and can't stand? Like they get on your nerves, and you might even actually say, I hate this person. That is a good person that you need to do some deep reflection about. That is a good person that you need to pray over and pray over yourself. Pray over them and over you. Because usually the things that we hate the most in other people are things that we're hiding in ourselves, flaws of our own that we don't like, which is why we are disgusted by the fact that it's showing up in somebody else. And we point it out, and it annoys us, and it agitates us, and we can't stand it because subconsciously we can't stand that same thing within ourselves. Does that make sense, family? Hey, Lenora, welcome. Cousin Brittany is back. She says, hey, fam, tuned in live on YouTube. Hey, good rest. Cousin Tabitha on Instagram says, my friend may say things about me she doesn't like a lot. And she likely doesn't like those things within herself. And is this the friend that we've been talking about past couple days? Because we ain't talking about that friend no more, Cousin Tabitha. We are not giving that friend any more energy. If it's a different friend, then we need to talk about you and your friends. You said it's the same one? Yes. Yeah, we're not giving that friend any more energy. For the cousins that are new here, Cousin Tabitha on Instagram has a friend that disrespects her and often is judgmental towards her, and we've had some words, we've had some conversations and some suggestions about what to do with this friend. Yes. She's laughing on Instagram. Cousin Trey says, sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. Shaking my head. And I remember, I'm not going to say who, but there was a certain person in my life, and they really got on my nerves sometimes. And when I recognized this many, many years ago about like, why did they agitate me so much? And I had to take it to the Lord and pray about it. Like, why does this person work my every nerve? I'm talking about all the nerves. It was like they invented nerves within me just to get on them. Like, dang, where'd that nerve pop up? Oh, you created it within me so that you could get on it. And it was like, okay, Lord, what you're revealing is that there are things within that person that I don't necessarily like about myself. And consciously, I was not aware of that. And I had to deal with that. Cousin Brittany says, yes, makes sense. So glad, so glad. All right. So these are some quotes that I really, really like. So depending on what platform you are, you can take a screenshot of the screen. Let's go on to the next one. When you judge others, you do not define them. You actually define yourself. Now, that was said by Sir Earl Nightingale. When you judge others, you don't define them, you define yourselves. It's like, I'm sure you guys have heard when people say, how people treat you says a lot more about them than it says about you. No matter what they did or what they said, whether negative or positive, how they treat you and what they say about you says a lot more about them than what it says about you. Here's the perfect example of that with this quote. When you judge others, you don't define them. You actually define yourself. Hey, welcome back, Sheba. Here's one more. Through judging, we separate, but through understanding, we grow. And I like this one because this says it makes us divided when we judge others. Because think about it. Usually when you're judging somebody, you're putting up a line of demarcation. You're putting up a wall between you and that other person. And walls divide, walls separate. We put up walls to separate us from the thing on the other side of the wall. But when we are instead operating from a place of understanding, then that's when we are able to grow. Hey, Rochelle. Hey, Wendy. Cousin Mercedes is back on YouTube. She says, hey, family. Cousin Trey on TikTok says, that's making sense to me now these days in my singleness. Mm-hmm. Yep. And no, let me not say that because I feel like I don't even have the right words. So I was about to say something, but I was like, I don't know if that's really a thing, and I don't think I'm going to say it correctly and make it make sense. I think I'm just going to confuse you. So let me not. So yes, first we reject and then we project. The things that we reject in ourselves are usually things that we project onto other people. Just like we can see that clearly whenever people are angry sometimes, and they lash out at you. Like you just popped in and you're like, wait, why'd I catch that stray? Has everybody heard that saying before? Hey, Batari, welcome. Like, actually, I don't know if any of you watch Love is Blind, but they just had a reunion on Love is Blind. And who was talking? One of the couples were talking, and then one of the guys, he said, dang, I'm feeling some kind of way because why am I catching strays in your conversation about somebody else? Because what the other guy had said, he brought in the third guy, but he wasn't talking to the third guy. He just brought in the third guy and was talking about the third guy. And now the third guy heard what he said and he's like, dang, what did I do? We reject within ourselves the things that we don't like and we project it on other people. Just like if somebody got angry about something and then you step into the room and now all of a sudden they're yelling at you and you didn't do anything. And you're like, dang, I get that you're mad, but that don't mean you take it out on me. That's what happens when we're judging people. There's something within us that we are rejecting and we don't like. And so we're projecting it onto other people. Cousin Trey says, like they get triggered. Yes, exactly. Cousin Brittany says, God has been spoon feeding me a dose of my own medicine all day. Ooh, Cousin Brittany, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I hope that as you're getting a dose of your own medicine, you also are getting some healing. Okay? That's what we claiming. You're getting some healing at the same time. Hey, Tut, welcome. All right, so those are the quotes that I wanted to share with you. So let's talk about this self-judgment that are talking about today. Usually, sometimes when we judge as well, it's because the person that we're judging is threatening ourselves in some kind of way. Something within us feels threatened by the person that we're judging, by the person that we're critical of. Maybe we're spiritually threatened. Maybe we're not intentionally, intellectually threatened. Maybe we're physically threatened. Maybe we're financially threatened. For example, let's take the physically threatened part. Let's say that there is somebody that you deem as very beautiful or very gorgeous, and you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror every day when you get up, and you don't like what the numbers on the scale whenever you step on it. And you're constantly watching what you eat, but feel like you can't lose the weight or something like that. And so here comes this person that you perceive to be gorgeous. And even though they're very sweet and kind to you, you're judging them. Like, oh, they're just being kind to me because they feel bad for me. Or they must have it nice because they're so pretty. Oh, they didn't earn all those achievements. They got it because they're so pretty. Meanwhile, I'm resentful because I have to work hard for everything. And you're just judging them in all kinds of ways. They make your physicalness feel threatened. Does that make sense? Welcome back, Cousin Her Beautiful Identity. Cousin Tabitha says, I think I judge people as better off than me. Is that judging? Yes, because you can judge up or you can judge down. It's still judging. So, oftentimes, or sometimes, one of the reasons that we judge is that the person threatens how we perceive ourselves in any different area. Like I said, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, any of the different ways. And so, our immediate go to is to call them out on something or compare ourselves to them in some kind of way, whether we're comparing up or whether we're comparing down. And that only tells us subconsciously something about our self-worth, which is what we're going to get into. Because whenever we are not in the habit of judging others, we usually have a good sense of self-worth about us. But the lower your sense of self-worth is, the more you increase your chances of judging not only others, but judging yourself. And so here are some signs that you may have a low sense of self-worth, that you may struggle with judging yourself in some shape, form, or fashion. Cousin Brittany says, I receive it on YouTube. All right. So here are some of the symptoms. You're constantly self-destructive, or you constantly self-sabotage. Cousin Katasha says, makes sense. You're self-destructive or you self-sabotage more often than not. I'll give you a good example. Okay. Cousin Trey says, yes. Cousin Tabitha on Facebook says, I definitely judge me. Here's a great example of this. Foster children. For whatever reason that children end up in the system, especially if they started off with their family and then they're taken from their family for whatever reason. And even worse, if they're taken from their family because of behaviors that they did. Okay, here's what happens. Usually, a lot of foster children have issues with feeling loved and feeling worthy because why? Obviously, because they are not with their parents. They are not with their family. They were taken from their family for whatever reason it may have been. And so now, what's wrong with me is often a common belief or a common question that they have within themselves. What did I do? Why don't you love me that I have to be placed with these people or placed in this system? Why? Oh, and don't let them get bounced around from house to house to house, from foster mom to foster dad to foster parents. They done been in 5 different houses in the last 3 years. Welcome back, Cousin Diana. Then they really internalize that belief a lot more. What did I do? What's wrong with me? No one loves me. I'm not worthy of love. And then let's say, because there are a lot of bad foster homes out there, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that get into fostering for the wrong reasons. But for the good ones, now this foster child goes into a home with a good foster family that actually loves them for them and is willing to be patient and do the work with the traumas that they bring with them. And here's what happens more often than not, and it takes a lot of work to be able to get over that obstacle, is that when things start going good and they start feeling the love and they start feeling comfortable and they start feeling wanted and they start to trust their new caregivers and the new environment that they're in, they usually do something to lash out. Not on purpose, but it's those inner beliefs that subconsciously directs their behaviors. And now they're fighting, or they're running away, or they're intentionally doing things that, let me just try and get out of here because I know you don't really love me and you're just putting up a fake front. And so rather than you kicking me out, I'm going to do something that's going to make you kick me out. So therefore it's my fault and I'm controlling what happens to me. Even though they desperately desire to be loved, They desperately want to fit in. They desperately want to be a part of a family. So you might be asking yourself, Cousin Lindsay, well, then why would they act like that? It's because of the subconscious beliefs that they have to heal from. And so when they have a low sense of self-worth, they self-sabotage, they self-destruct. They do things that takes them further away from their goal in order to protect themselves. It's a survival mechanism. It's a way that they're saying, let me protect myself. Let me make myself have to leave here before you kick me out. Even though they want to be there. And we do that as adults as well. So we have to ask ourselves, in what ways do I self-sabotage? In what ways do I self-destruct? We can see this play out in relationships. This is why it's important that whenever you desire a healthy relationship, you do the work to heal yourself and not bring your past traumas into your new relationship. Because what happens when you meet the perfect boo thing? And the perfect boo thing has done the work to heal their past traumas. And then you come along and you get connected with your perfect boo thing, but you haven't done the work to heal your past traumas. And now your perfect boo thing is looking at you like, I don't need this toxicity. And then they leave. And then we're angry at God, like, God, why can't I find the perfect boo thing? I want to be married. I want to have a happy life. Because you're self-sabotaging the perfect boo thing that was in your environment. You're going through their phone. You can't trust them. You're lashing out. You're calling them names. And then you get mad when they don't react the same way that all the toxic relationships you've been in before reacted. Because now that is your normal. You think that love is supposed to be chaotic. You think that love means you have to yell at me and you have to call me out my name. And so now you have someone who is healthy and knows how to communicate effectively and knows how to problem solve and have disagreements without calling you a B word or calling you an MFer or hitting you upside your head. And because they're not reacting that way, you think that they don't love you. And then you self-sabotage and you have some behaviors that makes them look at you like you're crazy. And they're like, I'm not putting up with that. So they leave. Does that make sense, family? When we have a low sense of self-worth, we judge ourselves, we criticize ourselves, and it can show up by self-sabotaging. It can show up by self-destruction. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Thank you for the rose on TikTok, Cousin Diana. Cousin Trey says, yes. She says, wow, that's true. Trey says, oh, wow, I never thought of it like that. A defense mechanism. Cousin Diana says, amen. Trey says, that is so true. With the breathe out breath. Cousin Diana says, right on. Jesus Freak says, so good. Hey, welcome back, Cousin Shell. Welcome back, Cousin Nat. Over on Instagram, Cousin Tabitha Leo says, I used to do both. I think I still do. Hey, welcome back, Cousin Michelle. She says, yes. Cousin Michelle says, perfect sense. Over here, let me see. Where was I with these? Cousin Tabitha says, I definitely judge me. Cousin Katasha says, I try to live my life like live and let live. God has to judge. I know too many people from too many walks of life to judge. And she also says, I judge myself more, self-sabotage. And we talked about before, family, about not condemning ourselves because the enemy wants us to condemn ourselves. He wants us to judge ourselves. Cousin Tabitha on Facebook says, I make it true. Whatever they say I did or do, I will go do it to sabotage or I give up. But I'm healing and recognize what I do. Yep. So we have to be mindful of that. Here's another symptom of a low sense of self-worth is that we constantly apologize. Do you ever find yourself always saying, I'm sorry? Like all the time, probably multiple times a day? Or feeling like you have to explain yourself? That's a low sense of self-worth, especially when you're saying sorry for things you don't need to say sorry for. Hey, Naraya. Cousin Tabitha says, I do that all the time. Well, now you are aware, and we don't have to do it no more. Cousin Trey says, that's the one, apologizing for no reason, shaking my head. Listen, I have a really good friend, and she often would start sentences with I'm sorry, or end sentences with I'm sorry. And I had to say to her a lot, like, what are you sorry for? You don't need to apologize about that. Or she'll send me a text message and say, I'm sorry to disturb you. Who said you was disturbing me? When I don't want to be disturbed, I put my phone on silent. I leave it in the other room. If I'm answering you, then obviously you're not disturbing me. If you were disturbing me, I wouldn't have answered in the first place. You don't have to apologize for sending me a text message. But it was like she felt like because she was texting me and she knows that I'm busy, that automatically she was disturbing me. And that was just one instance. A lot of things that she would, say, I'm sorry for. And I would have to say, you don't have to apologize for that. Stop apologizing. Stop. I have a cousin. Now, granted, she is on the spectrum a little bit, but she also would always say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, what are you apologizing for? There's nothing for you to be sorry for, or feeling like you constantly have to explain everything you do to everybody around you. If you made the choice, stick with it. Why are you explaining yourself? Oh, I'm sorry. I got to go to the bathroom. I've been drinking water all day. Girl, just go to the bathroom. I don't care. This is not first grade where you got to ask to get a hall pass to go to the bathroom. And like, I'm not worried about your bladder. Now, if you're constantly going to the bathroom, then I may be worried. Maybe then, like, hey, girl, you got a UTI? We need to see the doctor. Like, what's going on? You peeing every 10 seconds. Oh, you just been drinking a lot of water. Oh, I get that. Okay. Just checking, just checking. But otherwise, your bathroom business ain't my business. Like, stop apologizing. I want all of you. This isn't our intentional insight for the day, but in the next 24 hours, for the rest of this weekend, actually, I guess there's only 24 hours left. Count how often you apologize about something. Take note of it. Okay, take note of it. Cousin Shell says, I'm always over explaining for people to still twist my words. Then I start the apologizing. Cousin Trey says, I do the same thing. And when I try to explain but can't get the words right, I say, I can't explain it. I'm sorry. Y'all, we got to let go of that. Because think, do you really have something to be sorry for? And I get it because it's partly society's fault. As women, as people of color, a lot of times, for the longest times, women didn't have rights. And we had to be meek, and we had to shrink ourselves, and we had to explain ourselves. And then double that if you were also a woman of color. Now, if you were a man of color, so it went men, then women, and then people of color. That's how it went. If you weren't a white man, then a white woman, I should say, then people of color, male or female. And so it's partly society's fault. And when we spoke up, we got in trouble. And so we started, if we spoke up, if we didn't shrink our voices, we started saying, I'm sorry, but excuse me, I don't mean to disturb you. I apologize if, and so we have to let that go, family. Okay. And we don't have to explain all of our choices and all of our decisions, especially when they're just everyday decisions. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, I have to say this to my friend I did. Hey, Stefan Rahimi. Over here, Cousin Tabitha, Fab Tab. I'm gonna have to say Tabitha Leo and Fab Tab. Oh wait, I think I missed one. Nope, I got that one. Okay. Cousin Tabitha on Facebook says, I do that all the time. Yes. Cousin Mercedes says, Amen. Cousin Fab Tab says, I just never want anyone to feel disrespected or to hurt someone. And that just comes with being aware of how we come across to people. And listen, if people were angry at Jesus and could talk crap about Jesus and he was perfect and never treated anybody wrong, there are always going to be those people that always have something wrong with you. And we have to just be able to discern the difference. There are some people in this world that are never going to like anybody. There are some people in this world that are always going to have an issue or always have a problem. They're always going to feel disrespected. They're always going to feel hurt. And we just have to be able to discern those people from people that we truly did disrespect, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Hey, Cassandra. Okay. So the first one was we self-destruct or self-sabotage. The second one was constant apologies and explanations. And the next one is we put our priorities last. If you are constantly doing all the things for all the people all the time, that is a symptom of a low sense of self-worth. And here's what happens. Let me tell you, okay? Here's what happens. You say, no, I'm doing good things for people. That's good. That makes me a good person. I'm doing this for this person. I'm doing that for that person. And I'm always doing things for everybody else, right? That makes me good, right? But what you're actually telling yourself, because usually when you're doing that, you're doing it at your own expense. You're doing it at the expense of maybe your finances. You're doing it at the expense of your physical health or your mental health or your emotional health. You are trying to carry too many things. You're always showing up to all the events. You're always saying yes to all the people. Yes, I can be here. Yes, I can be here. I'm not really feeling well, but I'm going to be here for you. I don't really have the money to do this for you, but I'm going to do it. What you are subconsciously telling yourself is that my needs don't matter. What you are subconsciously telling yourself is that I'm not worth it. My needs are not as significant as everybody else's needs. So even though I feel like this, I am still going to put this person above my needs and prioritize their needs over my needs. And the more often that I do that, the more I am telling myself subconsciously that I'm not worth it. My needs are not important. Yes, I need to be asleep, but I'm going to agree to go out with you, or I'm going to agree to pick you up. Yes, I have some health issues, but I'm going to agree to go do this, which is going to put my health in an even worse position. Yes, my money's a little funny, but I'm going to agree to loan you $3,000 when I know I don't really got it. Yes, I'm worn out. I've been working all that because I want to make sure I please you. I'm going to say that I'm going to go out with you. I'm going to say that I'm going to go on this vacation. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and do that. Yes, I'm tired of watching your child, and I don't really have the energy to watch your child. And watching your child actually does some other things, but I'm going to say yes. It happens at work too. Then we really feel like we can't say no because if it's coming from a supervisor, but there are professional ways to say no and say, this is not in my job description, or I don't have the capacity to do this. So when we're constantly doing all the things for all the people all the time, we are subconsciously telling ourselves that our needs aren't worth it. We aren't worth it. We're unworthy of prioritizing our needs. But say it with me, self-care is not selfish. And if we want to be able to continue to do things for other people, then at some point we have to prioritize ourselves in whatever area it is, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Okay. Over here on TikTok, cousin Diana says, I still haven't made my jar, but I'm going to. What are the main rules for the jars? Um, I don't remember what day we talked about love jars. Katasha, do you perhaps remember what day we talked about love jars as our intentional insight for the day? There aren't necessarily any rules. Just put anything that makes you happy. Write down a memory or write down a compliment somebody gave you or anything that made you smile or brought you joy. Write it down on a little sheet of paper and put it in your jar. And then decorate the jar if you want to. It can be a box, it can be a jar, whatever you want. Put those good memories into the jar. And then whenever you're feeling down or you just need a little pick-me-upper, grab the jar, shake it up, pull something out, read it. Fold it back up, put it back in. That's it. Thanks for the follow, Cassandra. Cousin Scotty is back. He says, good morning. Cousin Trey says, this is hitting home. Cousin Diana says, I do it because I don't want to make anyone mad. Family, we got to get over that because it's always going to be somebody mad. It doesn't matter how good we do something or how well we word something. It is always going to be somebody mad. Hey, Majak. Majak's got a thumbs up on Clubhouse. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, social anxiety makes me forget my needs. Cousin Trey says, ooh, that's an awesome idea, the jar. Yes, we talked about creating a love jar. I don't remember what day that was specifically, but that was, I want to say it was in the first 3 weeks, but don't quote me because I don't remember for sure. But I feel like it was maybe in the first 21 days of DTM. Cousin Scotty says, I really say oh no, when did that happen? Oh, dag nabbit. Sorry. Oh well. Sorry guys, I got distracted for a moment. Cousin Scotty says, I really say if a person knows themselves, they should take it day by day. All of your comments are coming up like 4 times. I don't know if you're aware of that. Hey, Monica, welcome. Okay. Let's see. Cousin Katasha on YouTube says, I know it was before Valentine's Day because I decorated mine like that. Don't remember the day, just that you put things in there to make you happy. So anytime before Valentine's Day, we talked about creating a love jar. So there you go. There's your reference point. You got a month and a half to figure out which day it was. Okay. So we put others before ourselves, and we subconsciously are telling ourselves that we aren't worthy of prioritizing our needs. But we have to remember that we have to prioritize our needs. And a lot of you have said, oh, I don't want to make anybody mad. I want to make sure everybody's happy. I want to, make sure everybody is pleased. And family, we got to get out of that period. Everybody is not going to be happy with the decisions that we make, and we have to be okay with that. As long as the decisions that we are making are in integrity and in alignment with God's will for our lives, we cannot be mad if other people get angry at what we have decided to do. Because sometimes we have to tell people no for whatever reason. Cousin Trey says, amen. And we have to be okay with that no. We can't tell everybody yes all the time because that usually happens at our own expense. Okay? Let's move on to the next tip. If you constantly beat yourself up, that can be a sense of low self-worth. You're constantly like, dang, why didn't I say that? Dang, I could have done this better. You're always criticizing your every thought or every decision. Anybody ever get that? Cousin Tabitha Leo says, I'm willing to say no. All right. I'm going to give you a little pushback on that. And family, if I'm talking to one, I'm talking to all. But are you willing to say no? Because this friend that you keep bringing up, we've been talking about for a while now, and it doesn't sound like you are any closer to loving her from across the street. And I say that with all the love in my heart. Cousin Diana says yes, because when we are hit up by evil, non moral people, we have to be brave enough to say no. Yes, correct. I didn't mean to say it like that. Say no. Yes. Anywho, yes, I agree with you, Cousin Diana. But then also, here's the thing, because this is where the enemy is going to get sneaky. We also have to be able to say no to the good people, the Christians, the ones that we love, the ones that we know have good intentions and things like that, because they need to be told no sometimes as well. And sometimes we struggle to tell people no whenever they are close to us, or we feel obligated, or we feel like we owe them something. Or we feel like they're so sweet. Actually, I just had a conversation. I was on the phone with a friend, and she was saying how she had a nanny, and the nanny is having some health issues and a lot of anxiety, and she almost fell down the stairs with her infant daughter. And she was just saying, like, the nanny hasn't been back to work, but she hasn't officially let her go yet. But you just told me you don't trust her with your daughter anymore. So why are you holding on to the inevitable? And she was like, she's just so nice. And, I like to try and help people. Now, if she was rude and mean, that would be easy to cut her off. But she's just so nice. Yes, but you also just said she has trouble being around people. She has high anxiety. She literally fell down the steps while holding your daughter and almost hurt your daughter. And you just said you can't trust her anymore. So again, I get that she's nice, but this position is not going to work out for her. And so sometimes people are going to be nice, and we're going to try and hold on, and we're only causing ourselves more stress, unnecessary stress, because we can't tell that person no. And so actually I need to check in with her and say, hey, did you do the thing yet? I hope so. You're supposed to do it after we got off the phone. Cousin Tabitha Leo's laughing on Instagram. She said, baby Dot, I want to. Okay, the only thing left is to do it. The only thing left is to take action and do it. And I know it seems easier said than done, but the sooner you rip off the Band-Aid, the sooner the pain goes away. Or at least it starts to decrease. And remember, don't look at it as a loss of friendship, because it sounds like she's causing you more negativity than positivity anyway. So instead, think about, what am I gaining by releasing this friendship? Gaining my confidence, gaining my peace. Maybe she's the one that's to blame. Well, I don't want to say to blame, but contributing to some of your social anxiety. Hey, welcome back, Dr. Lisa. Cousin Diana says, amen, over on TikTok. Cousin Maria, hey, where you tuned in from? She says, that's right. Cousin Trey says, sometimes my no's come with explanations. No, listen, it's not no, ... fill in the blank. No is a complete sentence, family. N-O, period. No. I don't have to explain to you why I'm saying no. I'm unable to help you at this time. For whatever reason, you can keep to yourself. And if they push and say, well, why can't you blah, blah, blah? Because that's another way that people will manipulate and try to make you feel bad for saying no. I'm sorry, I'm unable to. Just stick to what you said. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm unable to. Maybe another time, but at this time, I can't. In that case, I know I just said, I'm sorry, I'm unable to. In that case, saying I'm sorry kind of fits with the situation. But we don't want to constantly, I'm sorry, I can't. No, just one simple I'm sorry. Matter of fact, just leave it off. because I don't want y'all to get confused, cousins. Just say, I'm unable to in this moment. But I hope that you find someone that can help you. Okay? Let me see. Cousin Trey says, yes, they can make you feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. Cousin Tabitha Leo says she is. Um, I'm late on your comment. I'm not sure when it popped up, so now I don't remember what your response she is in reference to. Cousin Tabitha on Facebook says, I get that all the time, but this week I almost gave up and just beat myself up because I couldn't get something at work. But instead, I took a deep breath and wrote the facts down and was able to pull myself out of my feelings because they're temporary. Can we all show Cousin Tabitha on Facebook some love, okay? She has utilized the things that we've talked about in DTM to pull herself out of that space that she was starting to get into. These things work. Look, Cousin Trey's giving you a round of applause. Cousin Diana says yes. Mm-hmm. When we apply the things that we've been talking about over the past 76 days, they actually work. And the more we apply them, the easier it becomes to utilize them in our lives. Kudos to you. She said she started to beat herself up, but she was able to catch it. She took a deep breath and wrote down the facts. Cousin Katasha's showing you love. Cousin Tabitha says she is okay. Now I remember. She is contributing to your social anxiety. Yeah, well then it definitely means snip, snip, baby. cousin Diana's got smiley faces. Hey, Cousin Shay. Hey, Cousin Pretty Vein. All right, guys. So if you constantly beat yourself up about your decisions or about your behaviors, that is another symptom of a low sense of self-worth. Cousin Joyce says, good for you. Cousin Tabitha Leo's laughing on Instagram. Okay. Another one, if you are disgusted by your flaws. Now, sometimes this can be direct, sometimes it can be a little indirect. But if you are constantly criticizing yourself, let's say, for example, in clothes, that's an indicator of being disgusted by yourself, even though you wouldn't necessarily use and say, oh, I'm disgusted. If you're constantly criticizing your clothes and how they fit on your body, or every time you look in the mirror, you make a little face, those are subtle ways that the enemy is trying to sneak into your sense of self-worth. Pictures. Every time you see a picture of yourself, you're grimacing a little bit. Okay. A lot of these things happen very subtly and we just dismiss them as like, oh, that's no big deal. But remember, the enemy wants us to think that things are no big deal because slowly he's going to make them a bigger deal over time until eventually he turns them into a monster of a deal that we feel like we can't defeat. Okay. So if you're disgusted by your flaws, and those can be any type of flaws, physical flaws, financial flaws. If you're always disgusted by the number in your bank account, ask yourself, well, what am I doing to turn things around? Am I constantly blaming? What? What are you talking about? No, it's not. There we go. TikTok said it was about to cut me off for inactivity. What do you mean? I'm right here doing the same thing I've been doing past 75 days. Okay. Ask yourself, well, am I doing the things that I need to do to change my finances around? Am I still trying to keep up with the Joneses? Am I saving? Am I maybe taking up some extra jobs for a little bit if I need to? Am I investing my money wisely? Or am I still buying frivolous things? Am I getting my hair done when I know I got a bill due next week? But I feel like I got to get my hair done because this weekend I told my friend I would go to this event with her. Ask yourself. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, my voice. I'm working on these things. Over here on TikTok, Cousin Diana says, by being positive about what I say helps to be positive about ourselves. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Cousin Trey says, amen. Next up. Where was I? Disgusted by her. Always settling for less is another example of a low sense of self-worth. That goes back to feeling like I'm not worth the things that I really desire. I don't know what's going on with that, Cousin Diana, but we're just ignoring it. Hopefully it'll work itself out. Hey, manifesting billions. Are you always settling for less? You desire this level 100 thing, but you're settling for level 50, and you won't allow yourself to get to level 100. And here's also kind of what happens. It's like all these things play together. You're settling for level 50. You start talking yourself out of level 100. Oh, well, I don't really want it. Or, well, I probably don't need that anyway. Well, I should be grateful for what I have. And then if we do start to get to level 100, if we don't talk ourselves out of going that way, what do? We self-sabotage. We get to level 60 and we self-sabotage or self-destruct and drop ourselves back down to our comfort zone of level 50. Now, this can be a material thing. This can be in our career or our business. This can be in our relationships. This literally can apply to any area of our lives. Hey, Cousin Jilly Bean. She says, hi, cousins. Cousin Diana says, because we're afraid of what will happen if we think we're good enough for level 100. It's crazy. So we settle for less. And when we feel like we're getting too close to the thing that we truly desire, we will find a way to self-sabotage. Just like the example that I gave with the foster kid. When they start getting too close to that loving family that they truly desire, they start to self-sabotage and settle for going back to a foster home or orphanage or in the system. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, it's like I'm settling with this girl. Sorry, I mentioned her again. Oh, look at you saying sorry. You already know what to do. Cousin Diana says, why? What part are you referring to when you were asking why? Trey says, I feel the potential I have, but I hold myself back. Self-sabotage is real. Hey, Kay, the influencer. Lion? LOL. Why are we afraid? Why are we afraid of what? Afraid of getting the thing that we truly desire? Is that what you mean? Hey, Frederica. Yes. Okay. And I say everything will be okay. Just believe in yourself. Okay. So I think you came in after we talked about that a little bit. So it's a form of self-sabotage as well. That's why I said all of these things are interconnected, because I think you came in after after we had already started the discussion. So it kind of goes back to the self-sabotage point. When we're afraid, it's not so much that we're afraid of getting what we truly desire, and actually that can be a reason, when we're afraid of getting of what we truly desire, because we're afraid that we aren't worth it, is what it comes back down to. Our sense of self-worth. We feel that we aren't worth what we truly desire, which is why we settle for less, which is why when we start to work towards or achieve that thing, we self-sabotage and drop ourselves back down. Does that make sense? You follow that one? Cousin Trey says to Diana, yes, you are absolutely right. Let me know. Why do we feel like that? Let me know if that answered your question. If not, I'll see if I can reword it a different way. Okay. Let's see. So we always settle for less. Another symptom of a sense of low self-worth is feeling selfish for your needs. Now, let's say you do get the thing that you truly desire. Then you start to feel bad that you got it. Whether you paid for it, whether you earned it, then you're like, dang, I don't deserve this. Or I feel bad that I got this. It's like this is a big one with moms too. Because society tells us, put your kids first, do everything for your kids. That makes you a good mom. Moms, that's not true. What makes you a good mom is prioritizing yourself so that you can show up physically, mentally, emotionally for your children and the people that you love. Because when you're constantly putting themselves first, you're putting yourself last. And eventually that will take a toll on your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. And so it's okay to tell our kids no sometimes. It's okay to make them figure it out on their own sometimes. It's okay to make them earn things sometimes, because what you're doing is you are creating a human being that can function in the world without you, because you're not always going to be here to do all the things for them. And if you are, we got to talk about your attachment disorders. Because our job as mothers is to create these human beings that can function on their own when we're not around, when it's time for them to be an adult, to guide them into their own life, not to create another version of you, not to hover over them and do all the things for them. Because what happens when we're constantly doing all the things for them is that now they get to be an adult and they don't know how to function. And now they have anxious behaviors. They have a panic attack going into the store because they don't know how to go to the store by themselves. They have a panic attack trying to pay their bills because they don't know how to pay their bills. They don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to make a friend by themselves because you were constantly placing a friend in front of their face. Like, hey, Johnny, here's little Susie. Play with her. She's your friend now. Instead of letting Johnny wander off on his own on the playground and make a friend on his own. Make sense? So a lot of times us moms, and again, this is partly society's fault, making us feel that way. Let's say that we do say, you know what? I like that bag. I'm going to buy that bag. Or I like those shoes. I'm going to buy those shoes for myself. We buy it and then we're like, dang, but little Susie has dance fees, or somebody has this that I need to pay for, or I feel bad. I just bought myself this. Now I got to buy everybody in my house something, because I feel bad that I just spent money on myself, or I feel bad that I just spent time on myself. Oh, the ladies want to go out to brunch. Oh, I can't take that time away from my kids. Oh, the ladies want to go on a vacation. Oh man, now I feel bad and I'm calling my kids every 5 minutes because here I am on vacation taking a little bit of time for myself. And I'm not saying that it always has to look like that by buying yourself something or going on a vacation or a trip or something, but that's often what happens. If we allow ourselves to get it, we feel guilty for getting it, even if it is just 10 minutes by ourselves. Now, that was an example for the moms, but this goes for anybody, male, female, old, young, parent, or not a parent. Hey, Dr. Keisha, where you tuned in from over on Clubhouse? Let me see. What was that one? Cousin Jillybean says on TikTok, I used to do it all the time, self-sabotage. Cousin Diana says, I was raised to be humble, and I guess if I get too much, I feel like it's wrong or something. Mm-hmm. We got to heal that a little bit, okay? Because it's okay to have nice things. It's okay to desire nice things. The key is not letting those things control us, not letting those things become idols, making sure that we don't worship those things. But God desires for us to have nice things. He desires for us to have abundance. He wants to bless us with the desires of our hearts. As long as they follow his law and are in alignment with his will, they aren't like, bad things. Cousin Trey says, yes, I'm a mom, and that is tough with this type of mindset. Diana says, but my family was poor and I never had a lot of material things, but our home was full of love. Let me see. Trey says, that is so true. I can buy something expensive for someone else, but for myself, I just cannot. Trey, look, I'm going to give you the challenge. By the end of this month, I want you to buy something nice for yourself. Obviously, I don't know your financial health. That's not my business. But if you are financially able to, I want you to treat yourself to something nice and enjoy every single last minute of it. Cousin Tabitha Leo, she says yes with the praise and hands emoji. She says, no, not me. I work with gratitude. Cousin Soleil, welcome back. She says, right on time. I needed this over on YouTube. Hey, Cousin Kia Simi, good to see you again. Hey, Nora. Cousin Diana says, I'm learning that it's okay. Me too, Trey. Trey, Diana, have you guys joined the official DTM community yet? Soleil, Joyce, Katasha, have y'all joined the official DTM community yet? Aunt Fran, Mama Net, have y'all joined the official DTM community yet? Cousin Nora says, praise be to Father Abba. I need to take a drink. Just 1 second. Okay. So, hey, Cousin Diana. Yeah, I think Cousin Scotty must have been hacked or something because he wasn't engaging like that the other day. It was normal conversation. So Cousin Trey says, okay, I'll try to do something nice. I don't think I have yet. Get on it. Get on it. Cousin Katasha says, I'm going to join. And listen, I'm going to give y'all till the rest of this weekend to still enter the contest, the giveaway. So I'm going to change it. That's what happens when you're the boss. You can make the rules. So everybody that joined before March 11th, you're going to get 3 entries into the giveaway. Everybody that joined by March 15th, like I originally said, are going to get 2 entries into the giveaway. And then everybody that joins by the rest of this weekend, by March 18th, will get 1 entry into the giveaway. Subscribing to our official DTM community, and the link to that is on our site, mindsetmastersuite.com. Okay, so let me see. You feel selfish for your needs. You feel selfish when you do say no to somebody. You feel selfish when you do prioritize yourself and your needs. Or you do treat yourself to something that you've been desiring. So that is another example of a low sense of self-worth. Oh, let me take that quote off of there because it doesn't fit. So here's the next one. Feel selfish for your needs. Attachment issues. This is another symptom. If you easily cling to people, especially if they are nice or kind to you, and all of a sudden you're like attached at their hip, and you're constantly calling them and checking on them and trying to see what they're doing and wanting to go where they go, and just basically their shadow because they were kind to you. And then if they don't answer the phone or something, then you're tripping out like, why didn't they answer? What did I do wrong? Are they mad at me? Or maybe you saw them out on Instagram or Facebook. They posted a picture of them hanging out with another friend, and you're like, why didn't they invite me? And you a little bit become obsessive. You instantly get clingy to people. That is a sign of a low sense of self-worth. And a sneaky way to judge ourselves, because when that happens, we get this boost of serotonin, like, oh my gosh, they were kind to me. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they call me pretty. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they said that they like how I do this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then when they aren't giving you attention, you feel some kind of way. What did I do wrong? How did I make them mad? Why aren't they talking to me? Why didn't they answer the phone? Why didn't they respond to my text message in 2.5 seconds? Oh no, it went to voicemail. Did they send me the voicemail? Did they hit decline on my call? Oh no, I just sent them a message, but they haven't responded to my message, but I see they're on Facebook right now. Family, we got to talk about your clinginess, low sense of self-worth. Easy way for us to become highly critical and judgmental of ourselves. Okay, so we never want to be too attached to other people, and definitely not too attached too quickly. Okay, the last one, you always feel like you have to prove yourself. Cousin Trey says, I was that way. I isolate more these days. Ooh, we got to find that healthy balance, Cousin Trey. Because remember, we talked about before having too little of something can be bad, but also having too much of something can be bad. So we got to find that happy medium, just like with the three little bears. And Goldilocks came into their house and was like, this porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This porridge is just right. And then she did that with all the things. So we have to find that thing that is just right, that happy medium. We don't want to be too clingy in our relationships, but we don't want to be too detached from our relationships either. Cousin Diana says, I'm very leery of people that are too nice. I'm not clingy for sure. Mm-hmm. And we have to be careful because it's easy to fall into judgment when we feel like somebody is being too nice. Yes, we should have our antennas up and use good discernment, but here's what happens. This world has become so full of hatred and full of rude people that sometimes when somebody comes along who is just naturally nice and kind, we get suspicious. Like, why are you being so nice? Are you want something? Are you about to pull a okey doke on me? Are you being nice just so you can rob me, or you can steal from me, or you can trick me or something like that? Like, what's your motive here? And it sucks that it's like that. But it's like that. And I've come across that many times because I'm naturally a positive, happy person for the most part. Okay. Especially when I'm out in public or I'm around service people that are serving me, whether they're checking out my groceries or they're bringing my food to the table. You would be shocked that a simple thank you or a simple smile or a kind comment, how shocked people are. Like, I get shocked whenever people are shocked because I'm being kind to them. And it's like, is everyone not being kind to you? Cousin Trey says, that's true. Cousin Diana says, exactly. It's sad. Trey says, yes, that's true. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, that's me. Hey, Cousin Manaz, welcome back. Hey, Apostle John. Okay, so if you always have to prove yourself, if you feel like everything you do, you got to prove why you are worth being there. You got to prove why you deserve this or why you deserve that. And you can't just be. I'll give you an example. A good example of this is when we feel like we're dealing with imposter syndrome. Like maybe we started a business or maybe we've been invited to the table. And I need y'all to work with me metaphorically when I say the table. You know how people say, if you don't bring nothing to the table or anything like that, you know? So that's what I'm referring to when I say the table. We've been called to the table for whatever reason. And then we get to the table and we feel a little bit unworthy of being at the table. We feel a little intimidated. And so now we feel like we have to overcompensate and prove why we deserve a seat at the table. But we have to remember, if God called us, he will equip us. And if God said we're to have a seat at the table, we don't have to prove anything to anybody. And guess what? There's going to be those judgmental people that are going to be critical of you for being at the table. That is just the enemy using somebody else as a pawn to play on your insecurity already. So if he knows that you're feeling some type of way that you got invited to the table, but you still showed up, now he's going to send Susie Q to say, what are you doing here? Who invited you? Oh, I didn't know you had the qualifications to be here. Oh, I didn't know you had the buy-in investment to be here. Oh, were you invited to this because such and such is your cousin? They're going to make you feel some type of way and play on that insecurity. Because why? Because they're threatened. That's why they're judging you and being critical of you, because now they are threatened by your presence. And they're trying to play on your insecurity. They have rejected what they felt in themselves, and now they are projecting it on you. And the enemy is using them as a pawn to play on your insecurity that you don't feel good enough, you don't feel worthy enough to be invited to the table in the first place, hoping that you will shrink yourself. But God said, I put you at the table because I wanted you at the table, and that was enough. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Okay? Now, take this table that I've been talking about and insert it in any other area or situation that applies to you. In your relationships, in your careers, in your money, in your business, you know what the table represents for yourself. Mhm. Listen, I'll give you an example. Being an entrepreneur is not for the weak, okay? Being a business owner is not for the weak, especially when you don't come from a long line of business owners. Matter of fact, you don't even come from a short line of business owners. People didn't have businesses around you when you were growing up. And if it did, they didn't have the people that looked like me owning a business. I mean, yeah, I knew some Black business owners, but not close enough like that. And so when I say I really had to learn all the things, not coming from money, I had to learn all the things and figure out how to bootstrap and figure out how to, do this and do this. How can I do this on a budget? Because I don't have the budget. So how can I tweak it and make it work until I do have the budget? And I can think about just the times in my financial journey growth over the years. The first time I was in a room full of millionaires and how I low key to myself subconsciously felt very uncomfortable. Now, I didn't let that uncomfortableness show to everybody else in the room. I walked in confident like I belonged to be there, but on the inside, I didn't really feel like I belonged to be there because here are all these millionaires in the room. Meanwhile, I barely made it to the room. I probably got $5 in my bank account. But I knew I needed to be there to start to change my environment and change my perspective and see what is possible. And I just had to shift my perspective. And so, in efforts of proving that I deserve to be there, even though my bank account doesn't look half as good as your bank account, I had to make sure I wasn't trying to overcompensate. And I had to remind myself, you are in this room because you have the knowledge and the skills and the talents to be in this room. And the only reason that you don't have the bank account balance like everybody else is because their journey looks different than yours. You haven't reached that level in your journey yet. But I called you to this room, and you don't have to prove to anybody why you're in this room, because you made it to this room already for a reason. And so we have to sometimes remind ourselves when we get called to the table, that is enough. We don't have to try and prove ourselves or prove to anyone else why we made it to the table. Hey, Jay Sunflower. Because most of us didn't make it to the table just because we knew somebody. Yeah, there are a few people that get to the table or get an invite just because it's their parents' table. But for most of us, that's not why. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Um, Let me see. I think I said those. Cousin Diana says, yes, ma'am. Yes. Trey says, yes. Trey says, amen. Diana says, you're awesome, Lindsay. Thank you. Trey says, okay, so that's how God works in us, right? To put us somewhere. Yes, because if he called you there, he will equip you with everything that you need. We might not be comfortable. We might not feel like we deserve to be there. But if he put us there, then we do. And that should be enough. Trey says he calls us to be, even if it's not comfortable. Yep. Let me see. Okay, got all those. Over here on, excuse me, guys, on YouTube, Katasha says, true. She says, this crazy world has made us be leery of niceness. Ooh, I was really behind on those comments. Cousin Tabitha Leo has the prayer hands emojis. Okay. So that is all the notes that I have for y'all as far as we just went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that was nice. I like well-rounded numbers. We just went over 10 symptoms of a low sense of self-worth. I didn't number them because remember, I just literally thought of it 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live. I had a little block up. So 10 symptoms of a low sense of self-worth that causes us to pass judgment on ourselves. And when we pass judgment on ourselves, it subtly shows up in our behaviors that causes us to be in situations that we don't necessarily need to be in. Or that causes us to pass judgment on other people because we are projecting our own insecurities onto others. Okay? So let's get into our day 76 intentional insights. Utilize affirmations. That's what we're going to work on. One way to start to improve our sense of self-worth. Now, family, this is not the only way, and you have to add to this, okay? This is just a start to increase our sense of self-worth, okay? If you don't have a therapist, I am telling you right now, get you a therapist. Therapists are not just for people that are suffering with disorders. Like we think, oh, they're bipolar. Oh, they're schizophrenic. Oh, they're a sociopath. They need a therapist. No, family, we all can use a therapist, okay? Because we all are humans that experience human lives. So therapy. Get you one. And realize it's not a one size fits all. You might have to go through a few before you find your best fit therapist. But also, with that, don't just give up at the first sign of being uncomfortable, because a good therapist is going to push you out of your comfort zone and make you think about things in a different way. Help you to heal. Okay? So, outside of therapy, what we're also going to do is we're going to start with utilizing affirmations. What are affirmations? I'm glad you asked, Jay Sunflower. They're just words that you speak, positive words that you speak, more specifically. Okay? So, a great way to utilize affirmations, if you've never done it before, you can just Google self-worth affirmations or something like that. Or I'll do you one better. Listen, I didn't even mean to plug this, but why not? Okay. I actually sell lifestyle affirmations. Why are they called lifestyle affirmations? Because I have 4 different sets for 4 different lifestyles. So I have affirmations for self-worth. Great one to purchase with today's discussion. I have affirmations for motherhood. So if you're a mom, great set, because listen, being a mom takes us through the ringer sometimes. Affirmations for spirituality. Help us grow in our spiritual walk. And I have affirmations for leadership. So affirmations for motherhood, self-worth, spirituality, and leadership. And those are 4 different sets. You can buy all 4, you can buy 3, you can buy 2, you can buy 1. You can find it on my site. If you just go to my site, any of these sites that you see on the screen, those are my main sites. Okay, just the links that I give you go to specific pages on the same site. But if you click around, you will see my whole shop with all my books, with all my products, with the lifestyle affirmation cards that you can purchase. So there's those, but you can also Google them. You can create your own. A good rule of thumb for affirmations is that you need to speak in the present tense. So there's no I hopes, there's no I wills or anything like that. You're not talking about the future. You are speaking as if it is happening right now. So if you desire to be wealthy, you say, I am wealthy. I am happy. I have overcome social anxiety. Okay, you are speaking in the present tense. And the more that you can use I am, that just makes it a little bit more powerful. Because remember, in the Bible, Jesus says, I am, or God says, I am many times. And sometimes that is his whole sentence. Because that's how powerful those words I am. And usually anything that we put after I am, we are creating into our reality. We are writing it in our tablet, the tablet of our life. Cousin Trey says, this is a word from God because I used to listen to and read affirmations and he calls me back to them. See, girl, get on it. Get on it. Hey, thank you for the TikTok gifts, Prophetess Brianna. I appreciate it. Prophetess Brianna says, amen. Hey, where are you tuned in from, Prophetess Brianna? Cousin Trey says, amen. Prophetess Brianna says, welcome. Yeah, I truly appreciate it. Okay, so utilize affirmations. And if you need a little help, I actually have a free download of affirmations. Okay, and then if you like those, then go buy yourself the whole set. Treat yourself. Treat yourself, family. If you go to affirmationswithlindsay.com, you can download a free sample of affirmations for self-worth. Affirmationswithlindsay.com. Here, let me type that in the comments for you guys on TikTok and Instagram. Whoopsie. There we go. Okay, so I just put it in the comments there. Cousin Trey says, that's right. Let me put it in the comments for TikTok. www.affirmationswithlindsay.com. There, now you got some for free. Okay, look. So if anybody out there is thinking, she's just trying to sell us all her stuff. No, I'm not. Yes, you can go buy all the stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, but I have free things available. But we also have to remember, God gave us these skills and he did not say that we are to be broke with them. Okay, he said to utilize them, turn a profit, just like we said with the example of the story of the 3 talents. Okay, but wherever you are in your journey, whether you can invest 0 in yourself or 5 million in yourself, I have all the options available. So there's literally no excuses. If you're like, Cousin Lindsay, I don't got $20 for a set of affirmation cards. Affirmationswithlindsay.com costs $0. So there you go. I got you covered. And if you really love those, then you can go purchase the whole set. Okay? Hey, thanks for the rainbow charms, Cousin Diana. So that's what I got. In the next 24 hours, I want you to either Google some affirmations, go to affirmationswithlindsay.com and download a free set of affirmations or create your own affirmations. Just utilize some affirmations in the next 24 hours to boost your sense of self-worth. And remember, it might feel a little weird when you're saying certain things, especially if you aren't accustomed to speaking positively over yourself. But the more you say it, the more you'll start to believe it. And eventually your behaviors will start to match the things that you are saying and the things that you are thinking. That's how that works. Okay? So that is all that I have for you guys. Make sure that you tune in. That's not what I want to say. Make sure that you go to mindsetmastersuite.com. That is your home base where you can find all the things, okay? You can find the replays. Just click on the YouTube button. You can submit a prayer request. Just click on the prayer request button. If any of these 76 days have impacted your life, please, please, please leave a testimonial, okay? Just click on the testimonial button. You can subscribe to our official Devotional Time for Mindset family, okay? That's where we're going to go deeper. That is where we're going to be when this 100-day journey is over. All right. So don't pop up on day 1-on-1 talking about where you at, Lindsay. I'm not going to be here. If I show up anywhere, I'm going to show up in DTM community. But y'all have to subscribe. Okay. So you can do that at mindsetmastersuite.com. Just click the subscribe button. You can contribute your answers to our favored list. Just click the favored list button. There's literally a button for everything. If you're looking for a therapist, there are 3 different links where you can search for therapists in your areas. Find the one that best fits for you, okay? So tomorrow we will be back for day 77, same time, same place, midnight Eastern time. So if you are not in Eastern time zone, then please make sure you convert to what your local time is. Also, you can download your free copy of the book at mindsetmastersuite.com. Put it in the comments for you guys over here that can't see the screen. Mindsetmastersuite.com. There you go. Mindsetmastersuite.com. Boop. All right. Cousin Trey says, thank you so much, Cousin Lindsay. God is good. Cousin Tabitha Leo says, great session. Yes, I love you guys. I will see y'all tomorrow for day 77. Okay. Hope y'all ready. Invite some friends tomorrow. Invite some friends. We are rolling down into our last days for DTM. But if you subscribe to the official community, it's not your last day. You're going to have plenty days after that. All right. So see y'all later. Bye.